Hey guys, and welcome to another YouTube video. Today's video is week 3 of Rocky's off the track progress. So today is Saturday and I'm going down to ride him today. It's meant to rain a lot tomorrow, so I'm not 100% sure if I'll get to ride him tomorrow. And if I do, I'll probably just ride him on my own and won't ask anyone to stand in the rain and film for me. So I'm going to bring you guys along with me today to ride Rocky. So a little update on what we've been doing during the week. During the week I did a lot of lunging over poles. We also got quite a lot of rain on Thursday and Friday, so I did a lot of lunging through the puddles and kind of introducing him to water, and he was a pro. He did not care less about the water. He said water is no problem for me. So yeah, I think our cross-country future could be looking pretty strong. Also, if it looks like I've been crying, it's because I have. Anyone watched the, what's it called, the Squid Game or something on Netflix? Episode 6. Cried like a baby. Okay, this is a situation we have going on here. Please forgive me. Anyway, that aside, back to Rocky. So yesterday I rode him before work. I lunged him first, lunged him over the poles, and I rode him. And I was really pleased. I'm hoping today will be on a similar kind of vein, because what I really liked about yesterday was he was really good. I rode him, walked and trotted on the circle that I was lunging him, over the poles, totally fine, through the water, totally fine. And then as I brought him around different parts of the arena, he would get a little bit tense, but when I just kept a contact on and just kept consistent, he did come back to me and he relaxed, and once he did that I rewarded him straight away. So I feel like although he was still a little bit spooky, a little bit tense, he was trying to relax and he was listening to me so much more compared to last week. If you watched last week's video, when he went over the poles, he was just taking off. He just wasn't even thinking about me at all. He was just too tense to even think about relaxing. So he's definitely really trying, and he's definitely listening to me a lot better now. So hopefully today will be similar. I am going to lunge him first and then ride him. So yeah, I also went and did some shopping, some retail therapy. I don't know if you guys want to see what I got. Do you like hauls? I got this head collar. Why? I don't know, because it was cute. It's one of these ones with this kind of it's leather, and then it has this pattern on it, and it's super cute. And usually I'm a blue and navy gal, but I thought that red looked really nice and I think it might suit him. What else to get? Oh, what is Rocky like? He will not eat any treats. He doesn't like carrots, he doesn't like apples, he doesn't like licorice, he doesn't like 2 brands of treats that Andrew had, and the 3rd brand he will eat, but he's like nom nom nom, like he'll eat it, but he isn't like obsessed with it at all. So I got stud muffins, which have always been a good goer with my horses at home. And then I also got these other ones just to try, because the stud muffins are very big and I'd like to do some carrot stretches with him. So I got these. They're the molasses flavoured, because they had carrot and apple flavoured, but he doesn't like carrots or apples, so I didn't get them. So hopefully he likes these because they're nice and cheap and you get a good few in a packet. So hopefully he likes them. What else did we get? Oh, I just got some shampoo and mane tail spray because he's going to get a makeover, and it was kind of meant to be today, but I don't think I'm going to get around to it today, so it might be next week instead. And a lead rope, and I wanted to get stirrups, but they didn't have any black ones, and your girl was not going to get a pair of hot pink stirrups, so I'm going to order them. And that's all I got. That's all. Let's not talk about that anymore. All right, let's go and see Rocky. Also, when I get to where Rocky is, the owner of the place, Andrew, he is getting an off the track thoroughbred also, but one of our friends might be buying it straight off him and retraining it. But anyway, I'm going to look at it when I arrive, so I might show you a few clips of him as well. So yeah, see you when we get there. Here it is. I don't know anything about it, guys, so I can't really tell you much other than I don't know, I think it's been ridden a couple of times off the track. Oh look, 2004, 2014, it is, what's that, 7 years old? Yeah, Andrew's about to get on. Well, he's already better than Rocky. I couldn't afford this one, guys. He was out of my budget. Alrighty guys, so Andrew rode his off the track and totally survived. The horse was so nice. I'm kind of kicking myself that I didn't get him, but Andrew knows the guy that owns the horse, so he got a bit of a better deal than I would have. Anyway, I'm off to get Rocky. Gonna try the stud muffins. We will see if he likes them. Rocky, what do you think? Oh, don't knock this. Good boy. You're getting braver with trying. You just dropped it straight on the ground. That's not very nice. So this is where we're at on the lunging. Pretty relaxed. The poles are absolutely no issue. And the puddles are no issue. And although sometimes he gets distracted and starts looking around, especially because a lot of the horses are galloping around at the moment and neighing, he does come back to me fairly well, fairly quickly. Very good. And even when he gets it wrong, he doesn't panic, he slows down, he figures it out, and when he comes around the next time, he doesn't usually get worried. Very good. So yeah, I'm pleased. So I'm going to do a bit more lunging and then hop on him. Hello guys, I thought I would do another voiceover because so many of you guys enjoyed it in the last week's vlog. So here we go, I'm up on Rocky. Throughout this video you're just going to have to excuse the ground. Unfortunately this arena doesn't do very well with rain, so it is very deep in places, and it does mean that he sometimes stumbles and he's a little bit unsure on his feet, so we'll just have to take that as it is and kind of work through it. But aside from that, he started off as a very, very good boy. So whenever I ride him, I just stay down where I lunge him at the start, just to because that's where he's the most comfortable, and that's the part of the arena that he knows the best. And as you can see, we kind of venture off that circle and he kind of looks around, but even when he gets a little bit nervous, I can just put on a bit of contact, a bit inside rein, and he generally does soften and relax his neck. So he's definitely really understanding the contact so much more than he was. There was a good example of you just lifting his head. I just put a little bit of contact on and he's like, oh, all right, okay, we'll just relax here now. There's definitely not as much of that head shaking, and you know, in the last video he was really, you know, getting really tense and shaking his head and opening his mouth every time I used any contact. It was just because he didn't quite understand what I was asking yet, and he was just not used to it at all. So now I'm really happy with the difference and how he's a lot more accepting of the contact. So I'm just kind of mooching around to start with, just kind of wandering around, changing the rein. He is a lot more stiff to the right, which is something I mentioned in the previous videos. On the lunge, he tends to trot around with his head to the outside. So this is something that I actually work on a bit later in the video, you can see. But it's just going to be a bit of a work in progress. And as you can see, walking over those poles is absolutely no issue at all. He's totally used to them now. But I actually hadn't walked over any other poles since the last video you guys saw. So after this now I head up to the top of the arena and I go over the poles. I actually have them as 2 trot poles instead of a single pole, just because when I'll be trotting over them I think it's kind of nice. He's used to the trotting poles and it kind of relaxes him a little bit. So this was my first time walking over them since he had that kind of quite strong reaction and was very, very tense. So I was kind of anticipating him being more tense than he is over the trot poles and the lunge, just because he's such a sensitive horse. Whenever anything changes at all, he definitely notices it. Nothing gets kind of past him. So I come around to the brown poles because they were the ones that he was better over. This is such a small thing, but always trying to set them up for success. So I'm mooching around. He's also a lot better on the left rein when it comes to poles. He's a lot less tense. So I go over the brown poles and the left rein, and here he's very nice and relaxed, and he's stretching down. And yeah, he walks over and he's absolutely brilliant. It's kind of funny that I'm so pleased, but I am so pleased. I'm so pleased that he's so relaxed walking over those poles, and it's just such a non-event for him now. So then I head over to walk over the pink poles, which was a little bit scarier for him the last day. And again, he's quite nice and relaxed, and I'm really, really pleased with him. So then I head over to the lunge circle to start trotting, because again, that's where he's the most comfortable and the most relaxed. So we'll start over there before we venture our way out. But I'm really pleased, even with the transition. Before, whenever I asked him to trot, he'd get quite tense. But he just kind of, I wait till I have a nice walk and he's nice and relaxed and listening to me before I ask him to trot. And then once I ask him to trot, it's pretty nice and relaxed transition. He just kind of pops into the trot. And then I just go on my little circle. As you can see, ground very deep. He's kind of slipping a little bit, but he holds it together pretty well. So I just stay on my circle now. I go over my trot poles. And I'm really happy with his frame and his contact. It's, you know, it doesn't matter that he's a little bit up and down in the contact or a little bit opening his mouth, but he is as a whole generally relaxed over his neck and back, and that is all I want at the moment, just for him to be relaxed. And whenever he loses his balance and lifts his head, or gets a little bit tense and lifts his head, I just use a little bit of contact, and as soon as he relaxes I release it and tell him he's a very good boy. So I'm doing a bit of a change in the rein. So now onto the right rein, which is a little bit stiffer. So changing the flexion is a little bit hard. He doesn't quite get it. So there he loses his balance. He says, this is too hard, I don't like it. But then I pop him on the circle, which again is his kind of safe place, and he relaxes right back down. But it's definitely something that we're going to work on. I'll talk about it at the end of the video, but it's going to be one of my kind of goals for this week, is to introduce the leg yield, just to try and get him understanding bending around my leg and moving away from it. There he did a little hop, skip and a jump over the trot poles, but stayed very sensible, so he's a very good boy. Now back onto the left rein, which he relaxes going onto the left rein because that's definitely his more comfortable one. And I decided to come over and trot over the poles because he's being so good and really listening to me. He's a lot less spooky around the outside of the arena. There's just one barrel in particular that he absolutely hates, and he doesn't mind on the left rein and is terrified of it on the right rein. I just feel like that's just such a typical horse thing, just to decide that they don't like something on one rein. But yeah, that was really nice, really relaxed. Didn't change his rhythm at all. Straight off the bat, we're just better than he was at the end of the pull work session last week. So we're definitely heading in the right direction. So now we're on the right rein and we come over the trot poles again. So I just put a little bit of contact on and he relaxes, he tenses very slightly and then comes straight back to me. So that's kind of what I was talking about, where he, although he's still having tense moments, he comes back to me really quickly. So it's really, a big improvement, and it's a lot easier to ride him when I know that I'm going to get some sort of response when I ask him to relax and slow down. And of course it starts raining, because I just have the worst luck recently with riding in the rain. So then I pop him on this circle just because I kind of want to get some sort of improvement with regards to bending to the right. I think this clip does go on for quite a long time, so I might jump ahead at parts and then kind of show you what I was doing, and then the kind of progress at the end. So on the right rein, as I was saying, he just really doesn't like to bend to the right. So here, this little argument is because I'm using my right rein and right hand and just ask him to kind of bend around my leg there. And the minute he does, or the minute he's even straight, the minute he stops just bending to the outside, I do release my reins. You can see there I gave a quick release just so he definitely knows he's doing the right thing. Yeah, it's quite hard because what he likes to do is to keep his body really straight and almost bent to the outside and then just trot sideways. So his body is still straight, but he's moving sideways away from my leg. Whereas I don't want him to do that. I want him to bend his body. He's just stiff, and it's just something he's never had to do before, and it is difficult for him. It would be a lot easier if I could do some carrot stretches after I ride to help him learn this. But as I was saying before, he doesn't like any treats, so he won't stretch for anything. But maybe one day we'll get that sorted. So here he's just having a little kind of mess around, and then as soon as he relaxes, I relax my reins. He has kind of chosen one spot in particular. It's this spot here that he always gets tense. It's that side of the circle, whereas he's kind of better on the other side of the circle. Again, I do find that horses tend to pick a spot where they put up more of a fight. So we're just repeating. It's all just repetition. The same as when I was going over the poles last week, just doing that figure of 8 over and over again, and just trying to be very, very consistent in my riding. And it just does take a little while. It's always harder with an older horse who's, been ridden one way for quite a while. So there, he's coming back to me quicker and quicker each time. God, you can see how absolutely soaking wet I am. And poor Rocky, he doesn't love the rain either. He doesn't like when it gets in his ears. And then, just keeping really consistent every time he fights. I just keep my contact the exact same. And the minute he relaxes, I relax. So we'll skip on ahead now to a circle at the end. And as you can see here, he's a lot more relaxed. He's a lot more stretching over his neck. And literally all I did was what I was doing before. I was just circling and just being really consistent with my pressure, and then release as soon as he relaxed. So here's his tricky corner, and he stays nice, and he has a nice little bend to the inside. It doesn't have to be a crazy bend. Oh, there he's shaking his head because he doesn't like the rain in his ears. But just all about consistency. He's still going to have his little messes like there, but he came straight back and was really good. And he doesn't like the rain, which made it a little bit hard actually. I remember this. He's just quite distracted by the rain in his ears. Didn't like it at all, but he did try and work through it, bless him. So I just got 1 or 2 nice circles and then left him at that. So there, like, all that shaking his head is nothing to do with him bending. It's purely to do with the reins. So I just ignored it and just kept working. And he was being a good boy. Bringing Rocky for a little wander around the dam. He's such a spooky boy, so I just have to just bring him as many places as I can. Just get used to all these things. Oh, yeah, you can't see my reflection. Cutie. Okay, it's treat rating time with Rocky. First up is stud muffins. Hello, Rocky. What do you think? Oh, willing to give it maybe a go? Thoughts? Oh, no. 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 He will not eat them. Okay, next up is these. Oh, mate. You dropped on the ground. You literally just ate 3 of them in a row. And now you won't eat them. So rude. You are totally ungrateful, Rocky. Here's some really boring balancer pellets that you apparently are totally love. I don't understand you, mate. You're weird. You are weird. Good boy. Hey guys, can you see what's behind me? Yep, I think I'm gonna give Rocky his first jump today. He was so good yesterday and really took everything in his stride. So I think he's ready just to pop over a super tiny fence just to start introducing that to him. So I'll show you what I've set up. So I've made the jump on the edge of the arena, and I've also put these 2 poles either side. So basically when we come around to it, it's going to be like a little chute. It's going to really help to keep him straight. And really over the poles is the most logical way for him to go. Because he's got the fence on that side, pole on this side. And it'll just encourage him to go straight down the middle. So we'll leave it as a pole to start with. I'll warm him up, trot him over it and everything. And then we'll pop it up just to a little cross pole and see how we go. I've also roped my friend into videoing for me, so hopefully get lots of cool clips. So yeah, I'll go and get him now. Hello guys, I am back again. Ready for some jumping with Rocky. Strap your seatbelts in because you're about to see some real speed, guys. Well, not quite yet. Firstly, I start by just trotting over the poles, and he is a very good boy. This actually isn't my first time trotting over them. I trotted over them before my friend Alison arrived into the arena. And because they had changed position very slightly, he did have a little look at them. But he was good and he didn't panic or anything like that. He was pretty good and I trotted over them. So here I'm just changing the rein and coming back over them. So he's being really good. He warmed up really well, really relaxed, really listening to me. So I'm pleased that every day I come back, he's getting, he's getting better and better. Every day he comes back to me quicker and he's more relaxed. So I am really pleased with him and how he's progressing on the flat work. As you will see though, the jumping leaves a little bit to be desired. To be fair, I actually haven't cantered him before. The arena's just a little bit small and sticky at the moment to really canter him. So I thought, jumping will help me canter him because he'll canter off away after the jump, which he most certainly does. So yeah, I'm just warming up here and now we're going to move on to the jumping. So I have a really teeny tiny cross pole that I'm going to trot into here. And I will say that although he has a very small nervous breakdown and just tries to get over it as fast as possible, he does do a flying change there, guys. And then he also does a buck here. So that's our first jump, our first flying change, and our first buck, all in about 5 seconds. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, as I was saying, although he has like a little bit of a spook at it, he doesn't stop. Whereas, remember, his reaction to the poles was quite severe in that he just spun around and ran away. He at least went over it, so I was quite pleased with that. So here we are on the other rein, the left rein, otherwise known as his better rein. I thought this might be better, and it wasn't. Bless him. It's like he just is afraid of leaving the ground, so he just wants to get over the fence as quickly and as low as possible. He totally just hurdles it. There he got a bit of room, but oh my god, he just took off at me and I had to stop him. Although it's kind of funny in hindsight, he really was just taking off on me, so I pulled him into the fence there, kind of used the fence to stop him, and then I came around again, and I'm kind of glad I did stop him like that, because this time I took a pull and he came right back to me and then cantered away really nicely. So he definitely learned quite quickly there that, look, you can't just gallop off, it's not really on. So I took one pull after the fence, he came back and cantered away quite nicely, and then I come again, and again he lands and he doesn't run off of me. So I was really pleased with that. He just kind of canters down to it, jumps it, and then doesn't gallop away at all. One problem that we do have, and that I'll show you how I kind of deal with it later, is that he kept cutting that turn, and because the arena was slippery, it did leave us in a bit of a pickle a few times. So here we are cantering on the right rein. He knocked that, but he came into it quite reasonable, and although he kind of took off a little bit afterwards, he came back to me quite nicely. So here he is again, jumps over, and that's quite sensible, I thought. It wasn't too crazy. So we come again. He's getting better at the canter. He has a little slip there, which is unfortunate, and then does a very low to the ground jump, but canters away very nicely. Kept a bit of a rhythm there, so that was nice. So here we are on the rein that we're having a little bit of trouble with, just regards to him cutting that corner. So he really dives into the left there, so I just said, oh, hold on now. I'm gonna go right, just so that he stops anticipating turning left. Here again, I really bring him back and I make sure he goes straight to the fence before we turn. Because I didn't get on video, but he really slipped a few times and I was actually worried he was going to fall over, because he was taking that left turn quite sharply. So what I do here is I bring him back onto the circle as if I'm riding away from the fence, and I'm just really kind of reinforcing that left bend, and that when we come away from the fence, we're going to bend to the left before we turn, because it's kind of a vicious cycle in that he dives to the left with his head to the outside after the jump, which makes him lose his balance, which makes him speed up more, which makes him lose his balance, which makes him speed up more, etc., etc. If he just slowed down and bent to the left, he'd find it so much easier, but because he's so worried, he gets quick and it just kind of goes out the window. So I did a bit of a circle there, then I jump that, and I bring him back to trot, and then I try and reinstill it again, just circle again and again. And because he's a little bit wound up from the jump, it does take a little while to get it. But it's definitely something I'm going to work on. I'm just going to have a pole there instead of a fence and canter over it, and make sure our getaway is really relaxed. He's listening to me, he's bending to the left. You can see there, every time we get to the fence, he tries to dive off to the left and stick his head to the outside. So I just go, no, we need to wait now, we need to bend to the left, and we get nice and relaxed. So it takes him a few goes. This time was quite tense as well. Oh, it wasn't too bad. And then the last time he does it quite nicely, and I leave him at that. So that was our intro to jumping. It was a bit speedy, it was a bit flat, and he just kind of hurdled over them, but he jumped it first time, so I was pleased. And he wasn't completely uncontrollable. That time there was really nice. So give him a pat and we leave it at that. So that is it for this video. That is it for Rocky's third week as an off-the-track thoroughbred. So I thought I'd just give a little bit of a roundup to the video. I kind of thought I would talk about 3 things that I was pleased with this week, and 3 more things I want to work on. So the 3 things that I was really pleased with this week are, firstly, how much more he's listening to me and listening to the contact and accepting the contact. I definitely talked about this quite a bit in the video, but yeah, I just feel like he really listens and he understands what I mean when I use contact, and that it does mean just to relax, and he's starting to enjoy it and enjoy the flat work a little bit more. He's a lot more relaxed. So yeah, I'm really, really pleased with that and how much our flat work has come on in just a week. The second thing is his reaction to poles. So much better than last week. Like, the difference in a week is unreal. Possibly our difference in jumping could be, you know, like, he jumped today like he went over poles last week. So if he goes over jumps next week like he went over poles this week, I'll be very happy. But yeah, his poles are so much better. He's he's being really, really good. And the third thing is that I brought him for a little walk around the arena yesterday and today, and he went over the water. He went kind of around the spooky chicken coop and stuff, whereas the last week I did that, he was so nervous and so jumpy and so tense, and he wouldn't walk, whereas this time he walked all around it. And yeah, it was fun to bring him around, and I'm definitely going to start bringing him for some hacks now that I know that he's a little bit more sensible and that we're not going to get so afraid that he just runs away, because that was definitely a possibility before. But I feel like now he's a lot more confident, and he's got a bit more confidence in me. Slowly but surely he's starting to realise I'm not going to ask him to do something that's going to hurt him. So yeah, I think he's getting a little bit more confidence in me, which is always such a nice feeling. So now 3 things I want to work on for next week. So you'll have to watch next week's video to see if we succeed. But the first thing is definitely that bend to the right, sorry. I'm going to start introducing leg yielding to him, so hopefully the arena dries up a little bit so I can start using the long sides again. But I'm basically just going to start leg yielding him towards the track, just ask him to move off that right leg, but in a very nice relaxed way. He tends to respond well to my leg, but he just wants to kind of run sideways, whereas I want him just to really slowly kind of bend his body and just mooch over in the direction that I'm asking him to. It doesn't need to be a big deal. Just going to, yeah, just a nice little leg yield. The next thing that we're going to work on is cantering over poles. So I'm going to set out a little course of poles. We're just going to have poles everywhere. We're going to start trotting over them, and then we're going to start cantering over them. And this will definitely be a really nice way to work on that straightness and getting him to slow down before the corner and think about the turn and not just kind of rush through the turn and almost fall over. And definitely when it's just a pole, it's going to be a lot easier. And the third thing that I want to do with him is canter poles. So we're going to have maybe 3 poles in a row, so he's going to canter over them. I think this is going to be really helpful for slowing him down after the pole, because he can't just go over the pole and then run off. He's going to have to go over the pole and then another pole and then another pole. And eventually this is going to translate into doing bounces with him, because he's definitely a horse that's going to benefit from bounces, because he likes to just straight over the fence and off he goes. So I think bounces will be really good for him in the future, but obviously we're a little way off that yet. So yeah, I'm just going to do some canter poles with him, like 3 poles in a row. And even maybe when I jump him next week, I will make the middle pole a fence, and then he has his pole before and after to keep him in a good rhythm. And because he'll be so used to going over the 3 of them, that might be a nice way to just transition into a bit of a calmer and more relaxed jump. So they're the 3 things I'm going to work on. Yeah, I'll let you know how it goes in next week's video. And he's also going to get a makeover next weekend. So he's going to have his mane all nice and plaited and brush out his tail finally and get some of that mud and shave off his beard, I think. So yeah, I'm really, really excited to see how he cleans up. So that is it for this video. It's a long one, but I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly am really, really enjoying this journey with Rocky. and he is such a cutie and such a sweetie, and I'm really excited now. I'm starting to see some improvements, and he's getting it to be a lot more fun to ride now that he's relaxing a lot more in the flat work. So yeah, I will see you in next week's video. Bye guys.